The jungle hums with life. Birds sing, leaves rustle, and the air carries the scent of earth and rain. But suddenly, something breaks the harmony. A faint cry echoes through the trees. It's soft, frightened, and desperate. What would you do if you found a tiny, helpless creature clinging to life? This is the emotional story of a dedicated forest ranger and her journey to save a baby monkey left abandoned in the wild. Prepare to be inspired as we follow a tale of survival, hope, and the unbreakable bond that formed between them. The forest ranger had spent years guarding the jungle, but nothing prepared her for what she encountered that morning. The day began like any other, routine patrols and inspecting traps set by poachers. But as she moved deeper into the forest, a faint, high-pitched cry froze her in her tracks. She followed the sound through thick foliage until she spotted it. A baby monkey, barely larger than her hand, trembling on a broken branch. Its fur was matted with dirt, and its wide, fearful eyes pleaded for help. There was no sign of its mother. Her heart sank. The jungle was harsh, and a baby alone had little chance of survival. She knelt slowly, extending a hand and whispering soothing words. The baby flinched at first, but didn't run. It was too weak to move. With a gentle touch, she scooped the fragile creature into her arms, feeling its tiny body shiver against her. At that moment, she knew she couldn't leave it behind. The journey back to safety was treacherous. She cradled the baby close, shielding it as she navigated steep trails and waded through rivers. Each step was a test of endurance and determination. Halfway through, rustling in the bushes sent her heart racing. She ducked behind a tree, clutching the baby tightly as voices approached. Poachers. They were checking traps just ahead. She pressed herself against the bark, barely daring to breathe. Minutes stretched endlessly until the voices faded. Only then did she move, her pulse still pounding. She tightened her grip on the baby, promising it silently that she wouldn't let anything happen. Finally, after hours of pushing through dense terrain, she reached the Wildlife Rescue Center. Safe at last, she immediately set to work. She cleaned the dirt from the baby's fur, checked for injuries, and fed it warm milk from a bottle. The baby was so frail that it barely drank at first, but she refused to give up. She stayed by its side, talking softly and keeping it warm. Days turned into weeks. The baby began to trust her, clinging to her hand and wrapping its tiny fingers around hers. Its cries of fear turned into soft coos of comfort whenever she was near. But the emotional scars ran deep. Sudden noises made the baby flinch, and it clung desperately to her at night, afraid of being left alone. She spent countless sleepless nights rocking it back to sleep, determined to help it heal. Over time, the baby grew stronger. It learned to climb again, testing its tiny limbs and building confidence. Watching it play and explore gave her hope. Still, she knew this fragile bond was temporary. The jungle was calling it back. Months later, the day she had both anticipated and dreaded finally arrived. It was time to return the baby to the wild. She carried it deep into the forest, back to a safe area filled with other monkeys. The baby clung to her as she opened the carrier, its eyes wide with uncertainty. She knelt beside it, stroking its fur one last time. "You're ready now," she whispered. Slowly, the baby climbed out and looked back at her. It was just for a moment, but in that glance, she saw gratitude, trust, and love. Then it leaped into the trees, disappearing into the canopy. Tears filled her eyes, but she smiled. She had done her part. The jungle had regained one of its own. This story reminds us that even the smallest creatures can teach us the greatest lessons about resilience and love. But the fight to protect wildlife is far from over. Poaching, deforestation, and illegal wildlife trade continue to threaten innocent lives every day. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more inspiring stories like this one. Share this video with your friends and family to spread awareness about protecting wildlife. Together, we can make a difference. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.